Never tell me the odds. Welcome back, everybody. So you're not seeing double, but I do have two cone pieces for the cockpit. So this is mine. You can see where there's some differences. So you notice how this one's curved, that one's straight. This is the original one, and this is the supplemental one that they did. There was two reasons, because of the curve here, and these two outside ones were supposed to go below these windows, which this one did not. There is a thing with this that is incorrect. One, these lights or these dividers are a bit too wide. I'm not going to mess with it. But also, these need to come down just a little bit. All of these boxes should be the same size, but again, I'm not going to mess with it. That's not the point of this video. So the point of this video is I'm going to show you two pictures here, and you can see. I think I showed these in the last video. So there's the color along the side of the bottom here. So it basically goes from this line here down, and so I'm going to paint that. But I wanted to be able to try to do it with something that I could kind of experiment with. One, I wanted to experiment with these Post-it notes because I've heard of people using Post-it notes as a masking thing, and there's a reason why I want to do that, because all of these other lines that are here, those lines, I don't want to run into too much issue with the I don't want to run into too much issue with the tape getting stuck. I may need to move quickly as far as how I'm going to paint or whatever. So I did this one up real quick so I could kind of use this one as a trial. Some tape there. All right, so again, looking at the picture, what I'm going to do is go with a light gray, a very, very light gray, and then I will come back with some darker gray for the back, and probably, I think it was this one. I'll probably be doing this one towards the back, and I'm just going to go just a real light coat of that. And then on the front, I may hand brush it. So the best that I can tell, both sides are the same. So we're gonna paint them more or less the same, and see how it comes out. But like I said, I want to see how these Post-it notes work as a masking agent. So this is going to be trial and error. I think I might go with that. And I'll just paint it really lightly. So I'm going to go paint this real quick. We'll come back. We'll see how it comes out. And we'll kind of go from there. Okay, so we've painted. Let's see how it came out. I'm really interested because I may have watered down the paint a little bit too much, but we'll see. I think that it worked pretty well as a masking. I got some bleed there. That's no good. That is probably just because I painted too heavily there. I came back and painted there a couple times, so I'm not terribly concerned about that. Just trying to get a look for how that looks. Actually looks pretty good. Maybe I could go a bit lighter, which is fine. And then there's going to be a dark patch here, which means I would have to leave the masking there. Basically, leave the masking on across the top for a while. But yeah, so there's that. Now it could be stand to be maybe a tad bit wider, I think. I don't think that would be a problem, so that's fine. We can go a little bit wider. And then one of the things, so there's a bit of a darker gray, which probably falls in line with, where is the, so we've got this dark ghost gray, probably something like this. And I would probably, just to see how this goes, because like I said, I need to try to make sure I get it right. We'll see how that comes out. May have to do this color. I'm just going to try it here. This color with a little bit of this kind of on it. Just want to see if which gets darker and how those look. Okay, there is that. The other aspect of what I need to do is the front of the cockpit. So I think probably the best way to do this is, so this looks like, so there's a wedge here, and yeah, I think it's just a wedge here, and then there's just some light brushing there and there, airbrushing, and then just a hint along there. From one angle, it looks like it's streaked, but in reality, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I think we can just kind of take care of that. But there's some spots up here on the top of the very tippy top of, see if I can find it here. All right, so you can kind of see it here. This one kind of shows it better. So this picture here shows it really well. And I'm not 100% sure how to do that. So what I may have to do is do something like, so I'll go with something like that, and then I'll just do a quick brush over, but it also comes clear down to here. So this part all seems to be painted this one color, as best I can tell. So I'll probably start it here and kind of go that way a little bit. That's not, this doesn't look like it has it, but this is almost like a very light gray. Yeah, very light gray. Also found that there's looking at this one picture here, there's a patch right through here that I need to get masked. comes right through here. I need to get that masked and painted as well. So, yeah, I'm going to have to, I'll have to use this yellow tape up here just because it'll be easier. I'm going to measure this as best I can and try to get a piece that fits it properly and kind of go from there. Now, once I get this all on, there's going to be some streaks and stuff that go across the entire thing. So we'll have to make sure that we do that as well. Yeah. Sorry, I'm turning around trying to look at the pictures since they're on the other side. All right, I'm going to continue masking this off so that I can get it painted, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to do the sides just like this, but I think I'm going to go just a tad bit wider so it's a little bit more pronounced, and we'll kind of go from there. This side here, I said I want to come back with some kind of shadowing and stuff because the one image that I have, the one image I have kind of shows a little bit of shadowing up in that corner, and so I want to do that. So yeah, and I think I'll go ahead and, I don't like that color. I may mix these two colors, which was this one and that one. I may mix those together to get the color I need down there, because it's, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to continue with this. We'll come back. I'll show you when it's all masked because I'm going to have to be constantly looking back and forth, and it's just not going to be good video. Be right back. So I've just got a little bit to do here so you can see how we did that. I made this just a little bit wider so it's a little bit more pronounced. You can just barely see the light gray there, which is fine. I went ahead and did this part up here so you can kind of see where that is. Just a little bit of darkening essentially is what it ended up being, just along through here, and I masked it off there. So not a lot, just a couple shades. And then this side, and this side I'll just leave like that. On this side, we're going to use this neutral gray, this Tamiya neutral gray. I used this for this darker color up here, so you can kind of see where I had the one masked part there, and then I masked another little spot, so you kind of get two tones. I think that came out really good. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I'm just going to kind of dry brush it, and we're going to go back a ways. I'm going to go back to here. There's a little bit of color, probably paint that chipped off, but yeah. So there's that. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back. And I got this part masked off, so I showed the picture earlier where it had these little spots. I just kind of guessing by golly, so to speak, and I'll just do a, see, I want this to dry because I'm going to mask across here, so I only want the front to get this. So I'm just going to, just a light little airbrushing through here along the edges, and then this, I'll have to look again, but looks like there's some across here, and I'll put a little bit there. And then this area is pretty much wide open from what I can remember. But yeah, so that's that. All right, so we'll let this dry, and we'll come back and get the rest of that airbrushed, and then we'll start putting the little, try to do some of these little patchwork things and see how that comes out. And I've got an idea for, so there's a couple little dots, and I think that they're going to be so small. I'm not very good with my airbrush, and so I'm really nervous about even trying it, trying to just put a little dot of an airbrush spray right there. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking this and just kind of doing something like a dry brush. Something like that. Like I said, that's still a bit too dry. It'd probably help if I had my glasses on. We can kind of go with something like that, and that'll suffice for my little droplets. There is another one. So when I mask this off, and then down on this panel here, back towards the back, there's masking, and then there's kind of some spray, and then there's a dot right here. The dot is actually right on the edge of the masking, so the edge of the dot is actually kind of masked off, so we'll get that as well. But we'll come back and do that after this all dries. So I'll see you when when it's ready for that. Welcome back, everybody. So I did a lot of stuff off camera, and here we go. This is my cone. What do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? Now, if that doesn't look nasty and whatever, then I don't know what is. You can tell I got a bit of a shine, so I used some of this stuff, and as you remember, that gives it a shine, so I'm gonna have to come back and dull coat it. But that's all good. I mean, look at the detail. Just fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, just kidding. So this was my test bed of trying different things. This is what I've got so far. So as you can see, I've kind of done some stuff. You can see just a faint little line there where I just touched some stuff up. So one of the things I did find out was using this stuff to do some of this shading, I kind of liked it better than the actual paint. So I was using German gray here and up in here, and I kind of like this look better. This is actually supposed to be um, a black wash, but as you can tell, it kind of comes out kind of this brownish color, and like the heavier it is, the darker it gets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the smoke that I used before, and maybe a little bit of this, and we're going to darken some of this stuff up. So you can see I put just a little line there, and what I had to do there was I actually put two pieces of tape right next to each other, just a hint of a line, and I just kind of painted in there. And I put in some other kind of details and stuff, and we're going to come back and we're going to add a little bit of distressing here. Not a lot, but just enough that we can kind of make a difference. And I tried to do the little dot here, and I had tried one other time and kind of really screwed it up. So I had to wash this off, and when I did, I kind of went through the paint. So then I had to give it a quick coat of paint. You can almost see there where it's kind of thin, and I actually rubbed off some of this paint, but that's okay. None of this is supposed to be perfect anyway. But yeah, so I really like how this has come out so far. What we're going to do is just try to finish things up. There's probably a dot or two that I don't have. I'm just trying to get all of my pictures in line here. So like there's a dot, if I look at it from this side, so there needs to be a dot here, and I don't have that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with some of this neutral gray. And we're going to come in, we're going to put a dot on there, and I have, um, and then we're going to come back and we're just going to touch up a lot of this stuff. So, oh, also, so I did this up here. If you recall, there looked like there was just some lighter spots, and so I kind of did that last night. And yeah, so we're gonna just do just a dot of gray here. I mean, why not, right? Um, which side is it on? It is on this panel right here. Just a little bit back from there. There we go. So let that dry. While that dries, I'll get the rest of the stuff prepped. The last thing we're going to do is put on the marker, because what I found out is this stuff will wipe off the marker. So um, in fact, I can demonstrate that to you while this is drying. So if I take this Sharpie and we'll just put a line right here, all right, and then just so I don't get these brushes, I don't want them to dry out while I'm waiting, so I'm just going to use a micro brush, and we'll just use this stuff here. This is, and we'll even kind of, if we kind of rub that on there, so it takes it right off. No more line. So one of the things I don't know, if I come back and dry brush this, or use some clear coat and dull coat, if that'll make it go. It probably will. So what I'll probably do is I'll dull coat this first, and then I'll come back and we'll come back and I got two brushes. They're about the same, I think. Um, we'll dull coat it and see how that goes. So let's go ahead and start off with the smoke and just see how this goes. I've got a handful of brushes here. These are kind of my sacrificial brushes. So they say they're premium. I got them at Walmart. I don't think they're all that premium. So let's just see how this goes. What do you think? I tried to go subtle and not too heavy-handed on a lot of this stuff. I could even kind of touch up some of this stuff, help add a little bit of extra color to it. Um, Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So uh, now it probably looks a lot lighter. At least it does on the TV on my display. It looks lighter than what it does in real life. I mean, it's significantly darker live and in person. So I don't know if that's the just the way the camera is, or the TV just makes it look brighter. But you can definitely see where it's been kind of touched up. Yeah, I am very happy about that. I'm gonna do a dull coat on this, and then I will get the marks put on it, and we'll go from there. So I know this video is going to be uh, fairly long. In comparison, I got to let some of this dry before I do the dull coat, but I'll get that done. We'll get the marks put on it, and we'll wrap this video up. And then after that, we'll have to start on this part. Welcome back, everybody. So I've completed the nose cone. So I'm sure that you can tell that the nose cone has actual weathering on it and all that kind of stuff, whereas this part does not. Um, in person, you can definitely tell the nose cone's a bit deeper and darker color. Um, so I wanted to show I do have the lines drawn on here and all the spots that I could tell where they needed to go. And so this is essentially done. There's probably going to be a bit more weathering that I'll do, and that'll be go for everything. We'll get an additional coat of weathering. So things that I learned, I used smoke and this black wash, and I like that effect here better than the darker gray. I mean, potentially I could use a lighter gray. That'd come out a little bit better, but I like how these came out for this part. I think next time I'll probably thin it down a little bit. It might give a little bit more of a look that I'm looking for, but I think it still works for what we needed to do here. Next time we'll be working on this, so that should be interesting. Sorry I didn't show putting the lines on. It was kind of a rush job. I wanted to take this into work so I could show it off. I had a couple people asking about it and they wanted to see it live and in person. So I just kind of quickly got that done. I did find out that the cheaper of the two Sharpies worked and the more expensive one did not. Cheaper one, after you let it dry just a little bit, you can rub on it and it doesn't wipe off. And also a clear coat does not make it disappear. Whereas this more expensive one, every time you'd rub it off, and if you wanted to try to clear coat it to keep it on there, it would just dissolve and kind of blend in. So that's everything for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching, and may the force be with you always.